Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 3.21. Now in this particular Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is explaining yet another Vibhuti, which sounds quite miraculous as it talks about invisibility. But as always, there is a logic behind it and there's an explanation as to how and why this Vibhuti develops. So let's take a good look at the sutra, start breaking it up word by word and understanding how exactly this happens. So the sutra itself goes, Kaya Rupa Sanyama Tadagrahya Shakti Sthambe Chakshuf Prakasha Samprayogen Taradhanam. So this is the sutra itself. Now let's start breaking it up word by word to understand what exactly it's trying to say. The first word here is Kaya, and Kaya refers to the body. We've come across this word once before as well, and it essentially just refers to your physical body. Then we come to the next word, which is Rupa. Roop is quite a common Hindi and Sanskrit word which refers to the Rupa Tanmatra, which is essentially the subtle aspect of the form of light. So it's your form and your ability to kind of be seen through the Roop is what is the Kaya Rupa. Then coming to the next word, there is Sanyama. And Sanyam, which we've been discussing throughout this entire chapter, the combination of Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. And finally, the next word, which is Tat or Tad, referring to its. And then we come to the next word, which is Grahya Shakti, which is a combination word over here. And that refers to the absorption power or the grasping capacity of something. Shakti is with reference to power, and Grahya over here is referring to absorption or ability to receive. Then the next word we have is Stamba. Stamba means stoppage or, something that is stopped in its tracks is Stamba. And then we come to Chakshu, which is a really interesting word. It's basically a synonym for the eyes or the eyesight. Then we come to the next word, which is Prakasha, which means light. And the next word, which is Asamprayoga, which is referencing something that is not in contact at all. And finally, the last word, which is Antaradhana, which refers to something becoming disappearing, basically, something becoming invisible. So these are all the words together. Now let's take a look at what is the sutra saying overall, and then how can we understand it in even greater depth. So basically the sutra is saying that through doing sanyam on the tanmatra of roop on a particular body, which is part of the Mahabhutas, we'll come to that in the explanation. But by concentrating on that subtle element of the body, the rupa, what one can do is the yoga sadhak can actually make the light which is falling on that particular body, he can actually control how the body reacts to that light. So either it chooses not to reflect the light or not to absorb it, either partially or completely. And then because it can control how the light reacts on it, the body is able to go into partial or complete invisibility. So this is really, really unique and interesting because we've heard of invisibility so many times. These days we only see it in sci-fi films, but essentially it's considered to be a quality or an ability that people had at the time. It's also really interesting how a couple years ago, if you look at the sci-fi films from then, some of the inventions they talk about actually exist today. So it's really cool how sci-fi ties in all these things together. What was thought impossible becomes possible eventually. But in any case, I think a lot of these powers are more in the past. I think people were able to tap into them earlier on, and I don't think it's as as tapped into in today's day and age. But essentially what the sutra is saying is that yes, invisibility is a power that one can tap into by controlling the impact that the light has which falls on its body. So as you can see, this requires going into the depth of the abstract experience of the body, reaching the Mahabhut or the Tanmatra of rupa and then influencing or working on that to prevent it from absorbing or reflecting light, and that triggers invisibility. So, I mean, this again sounds really, really fantastical, but this is what the sutra is trying to tell us, that Sanyam on the Roop can actually do this for the entire body. The whole kaya can become invisible. And it's really interesting again because a lot of saints across the world, like across religions and history books as well as mythological characters, have been seen to demonstrate invisibility as a power. So I guess it just goes to show that maybe this was something that was practiced and people were more well versed with at that time. But we really can't say, but all we can understand is from the sutra, this is what is being indicated, that invisibility is possible through this kind of concentration on the roop. At the same time, here's an important and interesting point. Some books have an extra sutra right after this 3.21, which talks about a similar experience happening with sound and any of the other tanmatras like, air, etc., taste, smell. But basically, the book that we follow and the commentary that we follow is saying that that extra sutra is not required, because obviously if somebody is able to tap into the rupa and influence that tanmatra, then likely they know that they have to influence all the others. Because imagine if you're trying to be invisible but people can still smell you or people can still hear you, it kind of defeats the point of invisibility. So it's kind of like indicated within the first sutra itself that all of these things are combined into the concept of invisibility, and whoever's trying to do that along with whoever they're trying to make invisible, they will obviously then tweak around or work with all the tanmatras so that people shouldn't be able to smell them. They should completely think of it as invisibility through and through. So that is what this sutra is trying to convey to us. I hope you found this video to be helpful and useful. If you have, please don't forget to share your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. Also, do share this video with your friends and family, and please do subscribe to the channel because we create new videos every single week. We look forward now to seeing you in the next video and the next class or workshop, links for which are in the description. Until then, take care. Keep practicing, and we'll see you very soon. Namaste.